Tuesday. Seems like the days just fly by. It's like, weren't we just here? All right, let's see if we get everything on screen and get everything going that way. We'll see where we got. So let's see who's the 5x5 champion tonight. Tim, before I even see a screen. Okay. Worked for me. All right, so you guys can all see me and hear me so good. I still haven't messed up my technology knowledge as much as this is not rocket science. I could still manage to screw it up. All right, so if anybody was paying attention, no, we do not have a verdict up in Kenosha as of yet. The jury got sent home for the night, and they'll be back in the morning. So we'll see what happens there. You guys saw my video today on, well, what I've been talking about for the last couple of days with what's been going on with Russia, Belarus. This afternoon, if you saw what I put over on Pinball Prepping on the backup channel today, apparently Belarus did a nice computer hack of Lithuania, Latvia, Germany, Poland, and Ukraine, and hacked into all their government systems and did all that. You start worrying about the World Economic Forum and Cyber Polygon that was this summer. We're supposed to have results on that any day now, okay, how that all went. But then if you all caught wind today of another one, is Google had issues today, and you had some 30,000 websites having problems around lunchtime, East Coast time today, because the Google servers or something went down. So we're starting to have some very interesting cyber warfare, for lack of any other way to put it, go on. Okay, nothing's been said what caused the Google issue, but they've already shown that the European deal was the Belarusian government. So you have that, and of course China, Taiwan, and that's all going goofy. Deborah, thank you for the super chat. China and Xi and Biden having their summit yesterday, which was, Biden looking like a complete buffoon and Xi mopping the floor with them as usual. But then this came out just before we came on, just within the last 20 minutes or so. Israel has now started shooting missiles into Syria. So, like I said a week ago, I said this is all we need is something to go on in Europe, something to go on in Asia, and then something to go on in the Mideast at the same time. Okay, let's just keep an eye on all of this. Nothing's come to us. Trucker Jim, thank you for the super chat. Just very worrisome, I guess, if you will, because I've said over and over and over again, all it's going to take is the wrong person to do the wrong thing at the wrong time, and the balloon goes up, and then again, if you take a look at what's going on, not what happened, but what's going on in Kenosha, that seems to be the big topic of conversation. And I think it's going to be either way the verdict comes in, you're going to have peaceful protests. Okay. So, and then who knows what happens with that, if you get gunplay in that one too, this could get ugly. So, guys, I'm paying attention as much as I can. I know a bunch of you guys are too, because you're helping me with finding some of these sources that I don't normally watch and things like that. So I greatly appreciate it, because that's how we get the word out to everybody about what's going on. So, all right. So I just wanted to kind of give you the heads up on that one real quick. I'd love to be doing more videos that are particularly prepping videos, but at least personally, I feel it's very important that we are aware of everything that's going on in the world so we can prepare accordingly for it, so we're not caught off guard. That's part of preparing, at least in my mind, is knowing your situation. So that's why you get all these other interesting stories. It's not like I'm trying to become a news network or something. but you need to know what's going on, and so you can assess what threats could come possibly to you, because again, you got to put all the puzzle pieces together. All right, so let's get into some Q&A here. I'm waiting for the first urine question. I almost know that's coming. So wanted to say hello to everybody, but then to my mods, Robert, Jacob, Lucky Dame, and North Shore are all here. If it's your first time here, guys, I will kind of let you know what the game plan and the rules are here. We keep this PG-13. Okay. There's as I put it to everybody, your teenagers, sometimes I'll get a little salty. Your teenagers have heard some of the language I'll use occasionally. Your 6-year-old probably shouldn't watch. So, like I said, PG-13 is pretty good for this one. Please keep your comments to each other and to me polite. One thing I have no patience for whatsoever is name calling or degrading anybody else in the family. That's the easiest ticket to get you kicked off the channel. And the mods do an excellent job of keeping it very clean here. Just so y'all know, we don't do 300-second timeouts or anything like that here. We just toss you. That's it. Okay. We keep this as a close-knit family. We do a pretty good job all working together. 57,000 of us or whatever it is. So, there's a lot of good information to be garnered from everybody in here. As you're asking questions tonight, what I do ask is that if it's directed to me, please put it in all caps. I've got the computer right below me here, so I'm going through the chat and trying to read and answer your questions, get to as many of those as I can. Please feel free to have conversations amongst yourself, ask questions amongst yourself. I don't have all the answers. I've never professed to. I never will. Okay. But between everybody that's here, we've probably got 99% of them. And if I don't know, chances are pretty good that somebody else in here knows the answer to whatever you're trying to figure out. So please, use all the resources of everybody in the comments, in the chat, whatever you can. Always do it. I always say there's no topics off limits when you're asking questions. However, I will request this. Please no FJBs, no LGBs. YouTube doesn't like those comments. Please stay away from questions that are on our buddy here. I won't answer those. And of course, the other topic everybody knows to stay away from is anything that has to do with things that happen the first week of November. And as you guys probably already know, Prepper Nurse 1 is doing time in jail right now, and so is Prepper Now doing time in jail right now because of a comment in passing. And, Google is getting very sensitive about what we can talk about on here and everything and that. I toe the line all the time, not a problem there, but there's certain things that we obviously know to stay away from. Ace Maduro, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciated. So that's what I wanted to give everybody. So let's get into it here. Short soliloquy tonight. But I will start from the top with the questions, guys. If you guys know how this works, obviously there's 1,000 of you guys in here. There's one of me, so you guys can type a lot faster and I can scroll and read and do everything. If I haven't answered your question in 5 or 10 minutes, please feel free to ask it again. If I see it a second time, I'll just skip over it. I get behind in the chats, obviously, and then the chat will shoot me all the way to the bottom. I can't get all the way back to where I left off sometime. So if I miss your question, I'm not avoiding you. I'm not skipping you, unless, of course, you're talking about one of the verboten subjects. But like I said, please put it in again and we'll go from there. So with that said, let us start with what we've got. And this was something I wanted to ask, and Rooster already answered it in here. So Evan apparently is back home and doing well, so this is good. So thank you, everybody, for prayers for his grandson. Our prayers were answered, and Evan's back home. So thanks, guys. Okay. Charlie Lobb, the king of YouTube. Hell no. No, not by a long shot. Don't ever want to be there. I just like keeping this nice little channel going and all of us getting together, and that's good for me. Let's see. Looking for questions. Trucker Jim, hello from Sarnia, Ontario. I haven't heard anything on Pipeline 5 yet, so hopefully you still got fuel up there. The only thing I know is if they do close it down, we're been told now to expect gas prices to double. Cool. Thanks, Joe. Oh God. You can talk about me getting salty. Let me start talking about Biden. M. Hammer, hi all. The people of those countries get along. Problem is the governments don't get along. Yeah, I mean that. You bring up a great point, guy. Right there, M. Hammer. The individuals, the citizens of countries get along fine. I mean, a lot of you guys know Constantine, okay? I mean, hell, he's in Russia, okay? My wife obviously is from Russia. I've been over there. I've been to 20, 30 countries around the world. Uh, the people get along fine. Okay. Yeah. All right. There's a little bit sometimes, that individuals aren't going to get along, but as a whole, you know, uh, I don't have anything against the Russian people. I don't have anything against the Ecuadorian people. I don't have anything against the Mexican people or where the governments, on the other hand, are the ones that cause the problems. And well, yes, we need to have governments. Okay. We need to have the governments for what they were originally entitled to do. Okay. Protect the country. That's it. Not try to make all this diplomatic decisions. Crap, none of you are qualified to make diplomatic decisions. Everything you touch turns to Hovno. Yeah, okay. I'll keep it in check. Anybody speaks Czech here, you know what that word means. The rest you can figure it out. Okay. Robert Winslow says Google caused the Google issue. That wouldn't surprise me either. You want to go for other incompetent people? Look at the media and look at big tech. Let's see. Wow, nobody wants to talk to me tonight. I'm just scrolling on down here. Colo Chili Pepper says strap up, lock and load, be prepared. Yeah, with everything that's going on up in Kenosha, I would say that's a good idea. Make sure you are well protected wherever you go legally. Okay, don't get in trouble. Don't want to see you on the news a year from now, waiting for the verdict to come in on you too. Best thing to do is don't protect yourself, but don't go looking for a fight. Okay. If there's anything that I can fault this kid Kyle about, it's that he left his post. Okay. If he was there, he was going to be putting out fires and protecting his boss's place of business or whatever it is. Then stay there. When you start going up the street, stuff like that, I'm 100% on the acquittal train, by the way. But don't go looking for trouble, guys. I mean, I don't think he was looking for trouble, but he got away from his safe zone. He was not in a defensive posture when he started going up the street. And like I told you, you're in a much better situation defensively than you are offensively. Leah Burris, evening from the great state of Illinois. Okay, well, you put the word great in there, so obviously you don't live in Chicago. Or DuPage County or anywhere, Will County or Kane County, or obviously not Cook County. So it's like, all right, so you must live in Southern Illinois. Jen Boyles loved the free fertilizer video. That actually took, to get everything done, guys, that took me probably near 2.5 hours to do that whole thing. Not just to film it, but because I had to get everything ready. I had to boil potatoes and I had to dry out banana peels and do all this. It's like, okay, there is work involved in that. And, it's not just like, okay, fine, you do it. Now, saving eggshells, Okay, you got to rinse them out, otherwise you're going to have a real stinky kitchen. Okay, so rinse out your eggshells and save them. Coffee grounds, you got to dry them out. So I had to put them in the oven for about 10 minutes just to make sure they were totally dried out, things like that. So, but like I said in the video, if you look at how much fertilizer costs, I don't care if you go to the store and buy, I was going to say Kmart brand, but whatever generic 10-10-10 or 13-13-13 or Miracle Grow or whatever else, you start looking at how much money you're going to spend. Holy crap, how the hell can I save some money? There you go. Whoops, there's my first shot to the bottom here. So let's go back and see how far I am. Okay. Tennessee Prepper asks, Prepper now's in jail too. Yep. I think it was from a video he did a couple of days ago, but I was watching his morning video today over on Preparedness now, and he said that Prepper now's in jail. So, Pamela Fury, have you and Mrs. P dry canned flour? I Mylar bag my flour. Okay. And again, I've said a couple of times how you do this. Take a bag of flour, however you buy it, 5-pound bags, 10-pound bags, 25-pound bags, throw it in the freezer for about 3 days. Make sure you kill any bugs that are in there, any eggs or anything like that. And then I just put it in Mylar bags. My reasoning is this, and I know why people want to dry can stuff like that. It's easier to move around, whatever it would be. My reasoning for doing it in Mylar bags and not in mason jars is because of the premium that we're paying to get mason jars. Mr. Prepper, thank you for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I'd rather use my mason jars for meats, vegetables, things like that I can't put in a Mylar bag. My dry goods I can put in a Mylar bag. So personally, I want to use the most efficient, cost-efficient way of storage that I can. And at least for me, Mylar bags in a five-gallon bucket are more cost-efficient rather than having to go out and try to buy more jars and more lids, Lorna says, Pinball, let's all support Constantine's channel during the Russian rumors. Yeah. And I agree. He put something up on his community board today. And for those of you guys who don't know Constantine, okay, he has a channel on YouTube. It was called Letters to King. It's now called Inside Russia. Constantine grew up in the Soviet Union, lived in the United States for about 10 years, and moved back to Russia. Okay, so he kind of gives us the Russian preppers' point of view. Now, he not as much prepping like we know it, but pretty much everybody in Russia's preppers. Okay, just because of at least our age. And so you get the point of view from what he's seeing over there versus what we're seeing over here. And so I've talked about it in videos here recently that our media is, exaggerating some of the news stories that are of what's going on, say in Ukraine and things like that. So we're hearing what's on their side too. And, I've said this many times to people. The best way to hear about what's going on in your country is to listen to the media from other countries. All right. And you guys know what I'm talking about here. You listen to CNN, MSNBC, NPR, ABC, NBC, CBS, even Fox, whatever was picking, okay? And you get that very slanted opinion. You get, 5% facts and 95% opinion on it. If you want the facts, go listen about the United States here, okay? Go listen to British, German, Australian, Russian, Greek, French, Italian. Go listen to those countries' media about what's going on here. You'll find out a lot more truth, okay? And it certainly works the other way too. If you're sitting over in Germany, Patty Bobson here, for example, he's going to find out more information about what's truly going on in Germany by listening to other European countries than listening to the German press. Because the press around the world is corrupt at this point. Okay. And you go back to the Soviet Union and the newspaper Pravda, and we all know the jokes that were, mentioned about Pravda. And, the funny thing is, Pravda translates to the truth. Okay. But it was a propaganda piece. So, yeah, that's what most of media is anymore. So if you want the true news, find it from other countries and read that. Then you'll find out a lot more. I mean, I'd say probably at least 2/3 of the stuff that I tell you guys about, I'm finding on foreign news services. And it's a day or two later that it might hit the US news services. And by then we're already going, yep, we knew about this. So, but yeah, Lorna's saying support him. So yeah, he's supposed to be putting up a video tomorrow morning about what the Russian media is saying about what's going on with Ukraine, Belarus, all that sort of stuff. So it'll be interesting to watch that. Silver Possum, think you're busy now. Wait till you retire. Well, I'm unofficially kind of. I mean, I'm in between contracts right now, so I don't have a job at the moment. So yeah, I'm kind of getting the idea of what retirement is, because it's like, all right, I got more time to go work in the yard, and I was hauling concrete blocks around all day today. So that was my deal there. I know what you're talking about. If you want to, you'll find a way to keep yourself busy. Deborah Carmichael Crump, does Mrs. P know that you used her blender? I'm going to look for one at a garage sale. It wasn't her blender. Yeah, there had to be 50 comments in there. It was not her blender. So, all right. Green Mountain Off Grid. New here, Pinball. Love the show. What's the best site or way to keep up with Poland, please? Uh, let's see. Probably, I'll give you the website here real quick. Warnews247.gr. That's a Greek source that I use. That'll give you some good information out of that you can find out of Poland. Other than that, I'd probably look at the Lithuanian or the Latvian press and see what you find there. That will give you the other best stuff that you're going to find. Jen Farrell, new to gardening, planning to use containers. Any tips on growing tomatoes and potatoes? Okay, so if you saw the fertilizers that I made the other day, you need to make those, because those are the one that was high in phosphorus is good for potatoes. The one that was high in potassium was good for tomatoes. The big thing I'm going to tell you is, you're going to have something for your tomatoes that is high in calcium. The potassium fertilizer is high in calcium. So if we're talking about shellfish, eggshells, things like that, that's what you want to be putting in there. I mean, and like I said the other day, shrimp shells, oyster shells, crab leg shells, lobster tails, whatever it would be, dry those out, crush them up, eggshells. For a slow release fertilizer, great. You can, like I ground it up and put it in there, it's fine. But you need to get that calcium in your tomatoes and in your peppers so you don't get blossom end rot. And if you're going to do container gardening, which inevitably means you're going to be using potting soil or something thereabouts, you definitely need to get some calcium in there, because typical soil, dirt, the earth in most of the U.S. has got enough minerals in it, but you don't have the minerals in potting soil, because it's pretty much even garden soil or anything like that, unless, well, let's just leave it that. So easy way to do it there, eggshells, or, any of your shellfish, stuff like that, ground that up and use that. Another good way to do it, if you need to, if you've got kids, you go to the store and you buy the little things like chalk, like blackboard chalk, that kind of chalk. Stick one of those in the dirt in your pots with your tomato plants. That will give it plenty of calcium, and you won't have to worry about any of the blossom end rot. And just remember, when you are planting your tomatoes in pots, because you're new to gardening, if you are going to grow them from seed, or if you're going to buy plants from the store or whatever it is. Tomatoes are the one exception to everything else. Plant a tomato as deep as possible. If you've got a plant that's this big, okay, pick off all the leaves except the ones on the very top and plant that whole thing in the pot, because all those little hairs on tomatoes are actually roots. And so the deeper you put it in the ground, the better root system you're going to get, the more drought tolerant everything your plant will be, the more fruit it will bear. So that's it. But those two fertilizers that I showed you how to make the other day, make both of those, for tomatoes and potatoes. Those are the ones you're going to want. CB, hi. Advice on hooking up a Glenwood stove in a basement without a chimney. I honestly, not a clue. I don't even know what a Glenwood stove is, and hooking anything up without a chimney is probably not a good idea. So no, I'm not. That's one I'm not going to be a good answer for. Retired nurse, Eastern Tennessee Preparedness, just subscribed. Thanks. Jim's been subscribed here since nearly the beginning. So, all right. Unless he got unsubscribed. Montana Grizz fan, I'm having problems finding medications for my elderly Alaskan Malamute. Even Costco, Walmart, and Sam's were out. Good cat food is getting difficult to find. I know cat food, we've had a problem with it for, the better part of 9-10 months. Basically all year, there's been cat food issues. Medications, now, again, I don't know what medications you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about heartworm pills or flea and tick medication, or, dog's got a thyroid issue or something like that, I don't know what you're talking there. What has your vet said? I know the pills through the vet are more expensive, but can your vet get the medication that you need? Maybe you get it from the vet, so you got it. A Cushnet Prepper, how long is Prepper Nurse 1 in jail for? I believe he got a week. I think it was his first strike, so he should probably be out sometime by the end of this week. David Green, too, got my solar motion lights you recommended at the meetup. Love them. Good. Those things, yes, are very nice to have. And like anything else, you're going to get your false alarms. The raccoon goes through the yard, it's going to set the light off, but that's fine. You still, if you guys remember, there was one time maybe 6 months ago, I was sitting here and my light went off and I could see it through the living room window, and I was like, hang on a second, I wanted to see what it was. It was just an animal. But it's like your car alarm. I'll give you a silly story here. This goes back 30 years ago, and I was repoing cars in Chicago. Fun job. Okay. I quit after I got chased with a baseball bat, shot at, and found a dead body in a trunk 3 days in a row. But when we were repoing cars, everybody had car alarms. Mind you, this is the early 90s. And we'd set off the car alarm. Because what does everybody do when their car alarm goes off? They don't go check it out. They just stick their keys up and go click and shut it off. Thank you. Shut the car off. We get in the car, take the car, and go. That was it. It's the same thing I'm talking about with these lights. If the light goes off, poke your head out there and see what's out there. Because 95% of the time, it's going to be a deer, a raccoon, whatever it would be. But one of these days, it's actually going to be a prowler. And then you want to know. So, because if you don't do anything, they check it one day. Hey, nobody did anything. Try it again the next day. Hey, nobody did anything. Next day, they just walk right on through and go, hey, cool, there's lights here. It just makes it easier so I don't trip over something. Right? Doug Bresky, do I think the border wall will be finished soon? No. Want to know why? Because in this infrastructure bill is money to start disassembling the border wall. You heard me right. The Biden administration wants to start taking it down. Okay. There are millions of dollars, your tax dollars, of equipment sitting down there in boxes, in storage containers, right there at the border. I mean, lights and conduit and piers and the steel girders or whatever they're using to make it's all sitting down there waiting to be installed. All been paid for with your tax dollars. The Biden administration, rather than continue to put it up, wants to start taking it down. I mean, this is going to be one of those goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down as the administrations change. It's just somebody made a comment in the comment section on a video today. You do realize that not only Republicans are preppers and watch your videos. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, once I see a good idea come out of a Democrat, I said, I'll be more than happy to give them credit for it. I'm just not holding my breath that will ever happen. So, Jake Minker, how long do we have till shit hits the fan? Now, unfortunately, my crystal ball is still in the shop, and they can't give me an ETA when they're going to fix it. I don't know. I mean, the thing is this, we don't even know what the event is going to be. I mean, right now, the two most likely are either economic or some sort of military, but what an economic collapse looks like, we don't know how that's going to play out. Military, I mean, it could be, like I said, come out of Europe, it could come out of Asia, it could come out of the Middle East. There's way too many things. This is why you kind of need to pay attention to all of them. So it's like, okay, this one's getting a little hotter, this one's getting a little hotter. And so you have an idea of what to do. But as for when, no clue. News on the petrodollar. Adam in Alaska asks, nothing lately. We still know that countries are trying to avoid using the dollar and trying to, negotiate deals between themselves, especially with Russia, to not do it in dollars. Now, the other thing, what you got to watch is Russia has been stockpiling foreign currency and precious metals. I mean, fast. They've been stockpiling precious metals and foreign currency, and that's something else to watch as to what's going on. If they're stockpiling all these liquid assets, is something coming. I pay attention to this stuff. It's just, if it doesn't do me any good, doesn't do you it's any good for me to come in and make a video and go, hi, there's nothing going on today. There's nothing to tell you. I don't want to waste your time, and God knows I don't have enough to wait. I don't have enough time to waste. Christian prepper, am I a man of faith? Do I prep or watch world events according to what says it's coming? Okay, I've gone through this before. Yes, I am a Christian. No, I am not for lack of any other better words, affiliated with anything. I was raised Lutheran. I don't believe in the church, and not because teachings or anything, but I have a couple of good reasons. Every church, in my opinion, has become a money grab. All right. And I can tell you story after story after story about the church telling you, oh, you can suffer, but hey, give us that extra $20. Okay. I don't see the purpose of it. All they're doing is asking me for money every Sunday. Okay. God's not asking for money. Okay. I do not think there's an admission fee to go to heaven. Okay. So, that is my big thing. The second thing is, I don't need somebody to interpret the Bible for me. I'm perfectly capable of doing that myself with my own interpretation. Okay. Just like I'm perfectly capable of interpreting a news story with my own interpretation. I don't need Don Lemon to do it for me. Okay. Now, I give you guys my interpretations of news stories, and I've told everybody, feel free to disagree with me on anything. As long as you're polite, I don't care. Okay. You can disagree with me. We can have a good conversation. Somebody winds up being, rude and obnoxious, and you've lost any sort of credibility. Shop for a penny. Thank you for the super chat. So, yes, I am a man of faith, if you will. But no, I'm not. All the stories of, oh, this is in this book of the Bible, or this is the mark of the beast, or anything like that. That's somebody else's interpretation. That's not mine. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Dottie A, what about CB radios if we lose this channel? Put in a plan. Okay. Well, there's a problem with CB radios. There's a problem with any sort of radio like that. You only have so much range with them. Okay, and I mean, I know David Williams is here. He's down in central Mexico. I mean, North Shore is up in Canada. Like I said, I'm not sure if Patty Bob's in here. He's in Germany. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I I can't get on the CB radio from my house and talk to somebody in the two nearest towns because there isn't enough range. Okay, a CB is going to get you a good with a good antenna, not on the skip or anything like that. But during anything, maybe get tops 10, 15 miles. Okay, so that's just not going to happen. If we lose internet communication, I'm gone. I mean, that's it. I mean, if there's no way to communicate, this way via email or anything, and no, I'm not. Somebody suggested, why don't I put together a newsletter and email it out to everybody? Right, 57,000 people. I'm going to keep track of email addresses. I don't have time to do that, guys. I mean, just putting together, like the seed box or something like that, or the meetup and stuff like that, getting all that going. I mean, that's very, very time consuming. I don't have the time to maintain databases of email addresses and stuff like that. So, Charlie Lobb, should we have a national concealed carry permit for all? No, we should just have concealed carry for all. We don't need to have a permit. Okay, the little thing called the Second Amendment should say it's all you need. Some dude 1777. How to prepare for everything when you can't prepare for everything. How to know when to stop. There is no stop. Okay, because there's always going to be something else to do, and again, prepping is a journey. It's not a destination. No true prepper has ever said, okay, I've got everything I need, I'm good to go. Because I guarantee you, everybody can look at something to go, I could take one more of those, or I could improve this or something. I mean, again, people have asked me this question on weaponry or something like that. Should I buy this or should I buy that? And I'm like, get the cheaper one, save up for the more expensive one, but at least in the meantime, you have the cheaper one. I'll make something up. Should I buy a 22 or an AR-15? Buy the 22, save up for the AR-15. Because if you just save for the AR-15 and something happens between now and when you buy it, you got nothing. Okay, so that there is no when to stop. There's always something that you can do better. UI, you do this to me every week. UI, whoa, 6T. Did I hear AOC wants to shut down line 3? I saw a quick story on that today, and I didn't have time to go into detail of seeing where line 3 is or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, this is the insanity. Let's just shut off all the oil. I did the video the other day on why net zero is impossible. Okay, it is not physically possible to do on the face of the earth. We do not have the resources or the space to do it with current technology. Could we have Could we have technology do it in 30 years? Sure. But when these politicians are coming up and saying, we need to shut down coal, we need to shut down oil, we need to shut down natural gas, and my answer to every one of them would be, show me how. Well, we just need to do this. Show me how. I'll show you the numbers. You show me yours. And when they go, duh, I don't have any. It's just up here. Right. Okay. That's the problem. The only thing AOC's got is a little tattoo on her ear that says inflate to 40 PSI. But yeah, I mean, shut down line 3. What is her option for the alternative energy to make up for what she's talking about losing? She doesn't have one. Okay. It's like Greta Thunberg. We need to do this. Okay, you're telling us how to shut off. What about what to turn on? Oh, I don't have those answers. Then shut up. Yeah, there you go. Healthy disrespect for authority. The only legitimate function of government is to protect liberty. Exactly. That is it. Uh, Zach's dad, 777. Okay. Pinball. Should people put corn in chili? I feel it is unnatural. Serve chili with cornbread. We actually, I don't know. Did I do the video on me making my chili? I don't remember. I know I made it on something. I think I made it on enchiladas. I put corn in my chili. I put meat in my chili. And I put beans in my chili. So all those, I commit every sin for every state in the country. But my chili is really good. So we actually ate some for dinner last night that we canned over the summer. So that was it. Tim Beard, can you store food in a crawl space, 4-ish feet of room? Okay, the issue that I'm going to have with that is the biggest, you're specifically saying food. The biggest problem anybody has with food is fluctuating temperature. If you're talking crawl space, I'm assuming under your house. I mean, unless you've got a house very first house I remember when I was a kid, had a basement and partial crawl space. That probably would have been okay because it was relatively stable temperature. But if I put it in a crawl space under my house now, it's freezing under there in the winter, and it's 100 and some odd degrees in there in the summer. That's just ruining your food. So, I can't give you an answer because I don't know your situation. But unless you have a constant temperature, no, you can't. Myra Collins, thank you for the super chat. I see you guys making comments. And I will go back here and let me read these. Any suggestions for bugs? This year was hard with a bug. This year was hard with a bug. Did kills all the melon, pumpkin, and squash. Okay, it sounds like you had squash bugs. A beetle did attack kale, sage, moth, caterpillar, bug. Okay, so I did a video back. God, it's got to be 9 months ago, a year ago. And it was called Terrific Tonics. I remember it because that was the name of the book. Go look up that book. It's by Jerry Baker. Jerry Baker's passed now. But you can find that book online for a couple of bucks. Okay. You probably find it, even some people said they found it at a Goodwill or whatever it is. There's 500 different tonics, again, stuff that you can use from home. I mean, I'm thinking one of the first things I know you're going to use for that is a spray that's got certainly has like Dawn dishwasher soap in it. And then my guess is probably something along the lines of cayenne pepper or something like that, and you're going to spray your plants with it. But get Jerry's book. There's a ton of different things in there for specific to get rid of this bug, to get rid of that bug, how to make this fertilizer, whatever it would be. Again, it's a video, like I said, it was called Terrific Tonics, and that's the same name as Jerry's book. Read that. That'll give you all the answers that you need for that one. And then Shop for a Penny said, our warehouse is full and we've got plenty of food for preppers and prices are cheap and we want to sell to help everyone. We're Shop for a Penny, Point Verde Beach, Florida. There you go. So if anybody's in Point Verde Beach, Florida, check out Shop for a Penny. They've got tons of food that they're trying to help preppers with. That's the place you want to go. So, all right. And we will get out of that and go back to where we were. Okay, I see Treasure Seekers SOJ Part 2, and I must have missed Part 1. Spread all over a deep blue sky, bacon sun when brown, set away to cool in a bathtub. I got no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. Uh, okay. Christine Colson, hello, and thank you from OP Staples, Minnesota. Okay, I'm not OP. I don't know what OP, unless obstacles. Okay. Dottie A, we're still getting fuel. We live in Gibraltar, Michigan, across from Canada. Okay, good. So the pipeline's not closed yet. Doug Larson, greetings from Vegas. I saw that. Did you guys see the story out of Vegas the other day, where some uh, homeless people or whatever it is went into this 82-year-old woman's house, killed her, cut her up, buried her in her backyard, then lived in her house and was cashing her checks. Welcome to society. I think I saw it yesterday. Rooster Cogburn, any updates on fuel increasing sooner or increasing further? Further. Okay, well, don't ask Jennifer Granholm because all she'll do is laugh at you. But, like I said earlier, if they shut down Line 5 up in Michigan, the stories are that gas is going to double. We are still seeing fuel prices go up in Europe, which means that fuel prices are going to continue to go up for us as well. Okay, so not hearing anything about going down. Though somebody emailed me today that said their gas price went down like a dime. Okay, or it didn't email. They made it. It was a comment in today's video. I was like, somebody else, gas price going down? Don't know. Gas prices aren't going down here. When I was out there, up another dime. Roxy W, storing gas, 55-gallon steel drum. Has anyone done this? Well, the military's done that for years. 55-gallon steel drum is great for storing gas, provided you've got a way to get it out. You can't, again, start thinking about what a 55-gallon drum weighs empty. Now figure out what it weighs with 55 gallons of fuel in it. You're not moving that. So wherever it is where it's staying. So filling it's not easy. You could take, or not hard. You can take your 5-gallon gas can to the gas station and dump it all in there. Getting the gas out of the 55-gallon drum is a different story. Okay, unless you've got a siphon pump or whatever that's got a 4-foot hose on it to get the gas out of it, and then to put it into whatever you need. I hope you don't want to be doing it this way. You're going to have a hard time getting it out. Then the other issue that you get, and this is where you got to be careful, explosions. Okay, fire. That's dangerous. So again, if you can do it safely, it's a great way to do it. Okay, but most people don't know how to do it safely. Yarn Prepper, I'm staying home until the verdict is read. I'm thinking it might be a good idea to stay home a little bit after the verdict is read, too. Vicky Savage, problem is what 46 turns everything into he touches cannot even be used for fertilizer. That's the thing. Yeah, well, I don't know. The way he's going, pretty much soon our money's only going to be good in the compost pile anyway. Man goes broke. Any news? I just caught this one. Any news on what the satellite was Russia shot down? It was one of their own satellites. They admitted to it being one of their own satellites. I don't know if it was a spy satellite, a communication satellite, a cell phone satellite. I have no idea. Okay. That I have not seen. So. Christopher Rismini, I'm at Cabela's. You need anything? Hey, if you can get ammo cheap, go for it. Autumn West, Kroger has 49-cent a pound turkeys right now. We were at Walmart the other day, and I think there were 88 cents a pound for Jennie-O turkeys. We looked this time, the brand. Okay, it was Jennie-O, and I was like, damn, if I had room in the freezers right now, I'd get it, because I've got the turkey. I think I've got 2, and it's like, all right, I don't have any more room for it. I'm not going to, I got tons of chicken. Poultry is poultry. Lily B, how do people manage bugging out when it becomes too dangerous to be bugged in at home? That's a decision you're going to have to make relatively quickly. Okay. And again, this is going to depend on what the situation is. All right. And I've said, the only reasons that I'm bugging out from here, because I'm out in the middle of freaking nowhere, okay, is if the Chinese come over the hill or the forest goes up on fire, that I'm done. Okay. At that point, if I stay. So at that point, I've got to go. Then you have the question of how, because you have really no way of knowing what areas are roads blown out or cars backed up or marauders have blocked the road or whatever, so you wind up getting yourself into trouble very easily, or can. So, but if you live in a city and something goes on, you need to get out quick. Okay. I mean, there's not, oh, gee, I'm going to ride it out in New York City. No, hell no. I mean, the first sign of trouble, major trouble, get out, and I mean, I know people talk about, oh, gee, not everybody can afford a second house, second piece of property, bug out location. Nobody's talking about that. Your bug out location may be map coordinates in the middle of a state park somewhere where all your family knows to meet, and then you can figure out from there what's good. Remember, all bets are off. I mean, you're not going to go into somebody's house, chances are, but it's not going to take too long once the world blows up, if you will, that there's going to be a lot of empty buildings that you're going to be able to take. I hate to say that, but you just got to make sure that you don't go into one that's occupied. Sorry, I can never make it through. I always start getting a dry mouth. Okay. Robert Winslow, pinball, is SHTF going to happen in Europe and in India, I'm assuming? Chinese border, in my opinion. If you saw stories today, the Chinese are moving bombers to the Indian border, which gets worrisome. And they're like, oh, these, the bombers are used with long-range missiles, except right now they have short-range missiles mounted to them. And China said, well, we wouldn't be using this on civilian areas or anything like this. This would be to take out military bases. Really? Okay, so you're just planning on that? Lots of hot spots going on right now. There's a lot. The rhetoric is really ramping up, guys. If this isn't reminiscent to the Cold War, to a lot of you guys that are my age, those of you that are younger, go do some research on the Cold War. More than just what the words are. Michael Bettis, local hospital still firing staff in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Well, okay, there's a good reason for that. The whole there's two different classes, for lack of being able to use a different word. The group that has been overruled for the most part in the Fifth Circuit, saying it's unconstitutional, is the mandate for privately held businesses, the 100 people, everything like that. The one that is still constitutional, it hasn't been beaten yet, because it could change, obviously, it hasn't gone to the Supreme Court, is the mandate for any businesses that are government contractors. Okay? Government writes the check. Government's going to tell you what they're going to do. Hospitals, because they accept Medicare and Medicaid, therefore they're a government contractor. So they do fall under the not private business, the federal contractor executive order, and that does cause problems. So where it's going to get real goofy is when you get like this hospital in Tennessee near Nashville or whatever. They had to close. A hospital closed because they didn't have any staff, because everybody said no. And so the hospital had to close. When you start getting a lot of that, then you might have some backpedaling. But there was another story yesterday about a kid who, and I forget where it was, I want to say it was in New York, who basically watched his dad die because there weren't enough ambulance drivers to get to him in time. I think the guy had a stroke or something like this. The guy was like 40 years old. And this 10-year-old kid or whatever, basically sat there and watched his dad die because 911 didn't get there fast enough. That's what Joe's doing with this. Okay. Benjamin Todd, what satellite did the Ruskies down? One of their own. I don't know what it was. Like I said earlier. Leah Burris, Pinball, Crook County. There you go. Oh, yeah, Joe DeFazio. I saw this too. Poland and Latvia looking to declare Article 4, bring the UN in. Not that the UN is no freaking savior, guys. I mean, the UN is, Klaus Schwab's police force. So, don't anybody think that the UN is some great savior. I consider them more enemy than ally. Old Rocker, Pinball, thanks for your service. My pleasure. It's, I grew up. That I will say that was what the military was. One thing it did for me. I grew up. Snowcat Prepper, what do you think they will mandate shots for kids? They're already trying it with the 5 to 11-year-olds. That's already going down now. Lucky Dame, what do I think of Germany suspending the approval of the Nord 2 pipeline? Dark, cold winter for Europe, looks like. Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, and this is the thing that throws a real curve at me with all this, and I cannot put 2 and 2 together here with this. Why Russia would be rattling any chains with anybody right now? They're making freaking money hand over fist sending natural gas into Europe. Okay. And whether it goes through the old pipeline, Nord Stream, whatever it would be, because I guess there's you got the pipeline that runs through Belarus, you got the pipeline that runs through Ukraine to go down to Southern Europe, and now we're trying to run Nord Stream through. Russia's making money hand over fist. What Germany's thinking right now with suspending the approval of the pipeline, I mean, now I'll say this, if there's mechanical problems with it and word is blowing up, okay, that's fine. But if it's political, which I'm betting it is, that tells you how much the politicians don't give a rat's ass about the citizenry. Because I will guarantee you, whichever department of the German government is in charge of this, they're not worried about being cold this winter. They're taken care of. Screw the people. Kind of sounds like every other liberal, social, Democrat government around the world. Screw the people. Gen V Art, hi Pinball, when's the next meetup? Well, we just did it in October, and if I said, if anything, it's going to be an annual thing, that would mean maybe 11 months from now. So, haven't even thought about it. Way too many things can change between now and next fall. So, Mary Greeley News, thank you for the super chat. Whoops, there's the shot to the bottom. Holy crap, it's 2 minutes to 9. Okay, I got time for a couple more. Let's see if I can get back to the top here. What we got? Misty Woods, can I request prayers for my daughter-in-law? Her dad died last week. Yes, absolutely, guys. That's tough. So, everybody say a little prayer for Misty's daughter-in-law. Be greatly appreciated. Reppin' and Preppin', Pinball, have you seen the starving American children commercials they're running in Germany? No, I have not. What is it? Now we got to Save the Children Fund in Germany's trying to say, we need to send money to America. Maybe about time, look at Joe's economy. The Rooster, Pinball, we're getting close to the end of the show. I want to personally thank you for asking for prayers for my little one. Oh, and love you, brother. My pleasure. And Aries Martin, so when the real alien invasion lands in your driveway, not China instead. if Martians land, fine. Beam me up, Scotty. I'm good. At that point, I could give up. All right, one more. M. Hammer, bug out people sacrifice their residence is up for grabs. True. Okay. And again, it's like I said, depending on where you are. If you live on the 32nd floor in some skyscraper in Manhattan, fine. Who cares? Okay. I'm not bugging out here because this is about a safer place that I can go than anywhere else. It depends on where you are. If you're in a suburban neighborhood, maybe you think about it. Okay. Depending on what the area, you're going to know your area better than I would. But, you live downtown in the city somewhere. I mean, cities are going to fall apart like that. So again, there is no one size fits all. Everybody's got to figure out what works best for them. But, if bugging out is in your option, you need to have a plan. So, all right, guys, 'tis 9:00. Thank you all for a fun Tuesday night. We will see you all in the morning. Have a good evening. Pinball out.